The news hit like a thunderclap, reverberating through offices, living rooms, and social media feeds across the country. It wasn't just another policy update, it was a seismic shift that no one saw coming, and it sent shockwaves through the entire tech and business community. White House proposes $100,000 H-1B fee. The headline blared from every screen, dominating conversations from Silicon Valley boardrooms to university cafeterias. The sheer size of the proposed fee left many speechless, and the implications were immediately clear. This was a game changer. The disbelief was immediate, but the real story was just beginning. As the initial shock faded, questions started swirling. What did this mean for the future of American innovation? For the dreams of thousands of skilled workers and students hoping to build a life in the U.S.? For years, the H-1B visa has been a battleground. Companies want more, critics want less. It's been a tug-of-war between those who see it as a lifeline for American competitiveness and those who view it as a threat to domestic jobs. But this fee isn't just about numbers, it's a signal that high-skilled immigration is now seen as a privilege for the wealthy few, not an opportunity for the best and brightest from around the world. The message was clear: if you can't pay, you can't play. For many talented individuals and smaller companies, the door to America was suddenly slamming shut. The fee wasn't just a barrier, it was a wall. While the world fixated on the headline, a wave of quieter, sweeping changes began reshaping the entire immigration system. New rules, stricter requirements, and higher costs were being introduced at every turn, often with little public debate or notice. The new approach targets every stage, from student visas to work permits to green card applications. International students, once welcomed as future innovators, now face more hurdles than ever before. Families are left in limbo, and the uncertainty is taking a toll on mental health and long-term planning. The administration argues the fee will protect American jobs, but it sidelines startups and mid-sized companies, leaving only tech giants in the game. The very companies that once fueled America's rise as a global tech leader are now struggling to compete for talent, and many are considering moving operations abroad. This is more than a single policy. It's a coordinated effort to make the U.S. less accessible for global talent. The ripple effects are already being felt as skilled workers look elsewhere and other countries roll out the red carpet for innovators and entrepreneurs. The H-1B fee is just the start. The real transformation is happening in the shadows, affecting students, workers, and the companies that depend on them. It's a shift that could reshape the American workforce for generations, changing who gets to dream, who gets to build, and who gets to call America home. Understanding this broader context is crucial, because the storm that follows will touch every corner of the U.S. economy. From tech startups to manufacturing plants, from research labs to small businesses, no industry will be left untouched by these sweeping changes. The future of American innovation and competitiveness is at stake. The choices made today will determine whether the U.S. remains a beacon for global talent, or if the next generation of breakthroughs happens somewhere else. The H-1B fee grabbed headlines, but behind the scenes a web of new rules is quietly tightening. The strategy make every step of the immigration process harder, from student visas to work permits. International students now face new obstacles, minor rule tweaks that add up to major headaches. Employers are hit with new taxes and compliance burdens, making it riskier and costlier to hire foreign talent. Enforcement is ramping up. More site visits, stricter paperwork, and harsher penalties for even small mistakes. The result? A climate of fear and uncertainty, where the path to opportunity feels more like a minefield. The cumulative effect is a system designed to discourage, not welcome. For decades, America's universities have been magnets for the world's brightest minds, drawing students from every corner of the globe. Much of this appeal comes from the F-1 visa and the optional practical training, or OPT program, which allow international students to gain valuable work experience after graduation. These programs have helped the U.S. maintain its reputation as a leader in higher education and innovation. But now, new rules are on the horizon that could dramatically change the landscape. The government is considering shortening the OPT period, especially for students in non-STEM fields, making it harder for them to gain practical experience. On top of that, students will face more frequent and complex reporting requirements, adding layers of paperwork and stress to an already challenging process. The message from policymakers is clear: OPT is meant strictly for training, not as a pathway to long-term employment in the US. This shift could discourage students who hope to build their careers here even temporarily after graduation. These changes come at a time when other countries like Canada, the UK, and Australia are actively encouraging international students to study and stay. As these nations roll out the welcome mat, the US risks losing its competitive edge, making American universities less attractive to top talent. Another significant change is the proposed replacement of the flexible duration of status with fixed-term visas. This means students whose studies take longer than expected, due to research, internships, or unforeseen circumstances, will be forced to reapply for their visas, adding uncertainty and potential interruptions to their education. The result? More bureaucracy, more anxiety, and a real risk that a single administrative delay could abruptly end a student's academic journey no matter how hard they've worked. Today, over 1 million international students in the US face rising costs, more paperwork, and less certainty about their futures. For many, the dream of studying in America is becoming harder to achieve and even harder to sustain. By making it more difficult for international students to study and work here, the US risks trading away its higher education advantage for short-term political gains, potentially losing out on future leaders, innovators, and entrepreneurs. This student squeeze doesn't just threaten individuals, it also puts at risk the universities and communities that rely on the talent, diversity, and economic contributions of international students. The stakes are higher than ever. US companies from startups to giants are in the crosshairs. Beyond the $100,000 H-1B fee, a new payroll tax on foreign workers could add 10% to salaries, on top of existing visa costs. For small companies, this could be a deal breaker, pushing jobs and innovation overseas. Compliance is getting tougher, more paperwork, more site visits, and more legal risk. The chilling effect is real. Companies are thinking twice before sponsoring foreign talent. HR departments are overwhelmed, and the cost of hiring global talent keeps rising. The result? Fewer opportunities, less innovation, and a weaker US economy. The price of these policies isn't just financial, it's America's competitive edge. The impact of these policies will ripple through universities and the broader economy. International students are a financial lifeline for many schools. Fewer enrollments could mean budget crises and program cuts. STEM programs powered by foreign students drive research and innovation. By making it harder for these students to stay, the US risks slowing its own scientific progress. High-skilled immigrants are job creators, not just job takers. Many start companies that employ Americans. Restricting their entry means fewer startups, less investment, and a less dynamic economy. America's reputation as a magnet for talent is at risk. As other countries welcome skilled immigrants, the US could be left behind. The long-term consequences could be profound. Beyond the numbers and statistics, these changes carry a heavy human cost that is often invisible but deeply felt. Every policy shift, every new regulation ripples through the lives of real people, families, children, and individuals who have invested their hopes in the American dream. Families who've built lives here now face wrenching uncertainty. Jobs, education, and futures are all at risk. Parents worry about whether their children will be able to finish the school year or if they'll have to uproot their lives overnight. The sense of home, once secure, now feels fragile. Imagine a software engineer who has spent years contributing to innovation in the US, now facing possible deportation because her employer can't afford the new fees. Her career, her friendships, and her sense of belonging are suddenly in jeopardy, all because of a change in paperwork. Or a PhD student on the verge of a breakthrough, forced to abandon research due to a visa delay. The work that could have changed lives, or even the world, is left unfinished. The loss is not just personal, but a setback for science and progress. The erosion of predictability undermines the American promise that hard work and talent are rewarded, regardless of where you come from. When the rules keep changing, it's not just opportunity that's lost, but faith in the system itself. Instead, futures are determined by shifting rules and bureaucracy. People find themselves trapped in endless paperwork, waiting in lines and hoping for decisions that seem arbitrary and out of reach. The loss isn't just personal, it's a loss of trust in the system. Families sit together in silence, wondering if tomorrow will bring good news or another setback. The uncertainty seeps into every aspect of daily life. The message to the world is clear: America's doors are closing, and the welcome that once defined this nation is fading. International students, workers, and families now question whether they have a future here. Dreams are being shattered and the nation's ideals are at stake. The empty classrooms and packed suitcases are reminders of potential lost and of the promise that is slipping away. The human cost is real, and it's growing. Every day, more families, students, and professionals face the heartbreak of uncertainty, and the nation risks losing not just talent but its very soul. In this new reality, international students and workers must be proactive. Research universities' support for international students and ask tough questions about visa help. Keep meticulous records. Every document, every email, every pay stub. Don't wait to file extensions or start green card conversations. Plan early and often. Employers must budget for higher costs, hire expert immigration counsel, and advocate for better policies. Everyone needs contingency plans. Consider options in other countries or remote work if U.S. paths close. The system is less predictable. Expect delays and denials. Stay informed, seek expert advice, and prepare for the unexpected. Hope for the best, but plan for the worst. Diligence and adaptability are now essential. The story isn't over. Legal and political battles are just beginning. Many new rules will face lawsuits, with courts deciding if the administration overstepped. Temporary injunctions could pause some changes, creating more uncertainty. The outcome may take years, possibly reaching the Supreme Court. Meanwhile, immigration will be a central political issue, with future elections shaping the path ahead. For students, workers, and companies, staying informed and engaged is crucial. The rules are still being written, and the fight is far from over. America stands at a crossroads. New fees and restrictions threaten to end its era as a magnet for global talent. Fewer students and skilled workers mean less innovation, weaker universities, and lost jobs. In trying to protect domestic workers, these policies may actually harm them by stifling growth. The real question: will the U.S. remain open and competitive or turn inward and lose its edge? Competitor nations are seizing the opportunity to attract the talent America is turning away. The future of economic and technological leadership is at stake. The decisions made now will shape whether the U.S. leads or lags in the 21st century. The world is watching, and the clock is ticking.